No, I know, I don't support that. That's scary. Let's spread it around here. Yes, sweetie. Hi.
I have two questions.
Okay.
One is, have you ever turned down a role and regretted it?
No. You want to get heavy for a minute with me?
Yes.
The only reason I've ever turned down a role is because I felt like I felt like my faith and what I try to hold to and what I believe would not allow me to play that role. And I never regretted that. I'm not being all, don't anyone get freaked out, okay? I'm not being all religious or anything. I'm just sharing my heart. This is good stuff, guys. It's good stuff. It's not heavy, mean, angry stuff. It's good stuff. I always believed that if I listened to the voice inside me that said, I really would rather you not do that, something else always came along. And I always felt like I did the right thing by turning it down. And I felt like if I honored that conviction in the first place, then other good things would come because of it. So no, there are several shows that I could tell you about that I was offered roles in or could have played in or auditioned for, and I just didn't do it. And some of them are very popular shows, but I have to believe that if you do the right thing, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it will come back to you, you know? Is that okay? I'm not. I know, you know, you guys probably know enough about me to know that my faith is a very big part of my life. I'm rather verbal about it, but I'm not judgmental. I'm not condemning. I share it. I share what I share out of love. And so nobody should be insulted or offended or angry by it. It comes out of a place of wanting to share, you know, a good thing with people. So that's why I share it, and I appreciate you asking. And you had a second question.
My second question is, will you give my friend a hug?
I'm gonna hug the heck out of your friend. Get up here. Her face is gonna turn white because I'm gonna squeeze all the blood out of it. Come here. Question. We've got time for like one or two more. Yes, sir. Great question. Yes. You know who? Okay. This is going to use up the rest of our time, but it's a good story, so I have to tell you. Okay. I got a chance to go to Tokyo a few years ago, and asked me if I wanted to see Mount Fuji.
Did you want to see Mount Fuji?
No, not really. Asked me if I was dying to go to all the temples. No, not really. Asked me if I couldn't wait to eat sushi. No, not really. But what I did want to do was I wanted to sit in on a recording session, and I wanted to meet Romy Park, who played Ed. So two things I wanted. That's all I wanted. If I didn't get to do anything else, that's the two things I wanted to do, because they record very differently in Japan. Remember how we were talking about prelay? That's how they record. Lucky ducks. They all get together in one big room together, and they act together, and they record, and they perform the line any way they want, and then the animators animate to their performance. Easy peasy. So I wanted to watch them record, right? So I called a friend of mine at Square Enix, and they set up for me to go to a recording session. Has anyone heard of a show called Bamboo Blade? I was in Tokyo when they in the studio watching them record that show, and I was sitting there, and the woman from Square Enix was sitting beside me, and in the control room, right? And here was the Japanese director and assistant director, and I mean the control room was packed, and they were all smoking cigarettes. It was like, I mean, really little room with lots of cigarettes. And then through the glass window was a big studio, and all of the actors lined up. And they were watching storyboards that were on TV screens on the walls. And they had it choreographed. They would step up, And they would do their line, and then the microphone, somebody would step up to this microphone over here and do their line, and this person would step back, and this person would step in and do his line. And they would do a whole scene, and they would take the scene again, and then they'd move on. While I'm sitting there, and they gave me a script, which of course made no sense to me at all. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at right here, but thank you for the script. The Square Enix lady goes, she taps me on the shoulder, she says, director beside you? And I said, yes, and she said, he was assistant director Full Metal. And I'm like, ooh. So, and then like, she's like, that man, he was something or other on such and such a show that I worked on. And they took a break, and she introduced me to the director and this guy, and told her that, you know, that I was the American seiyuu for Edward Elric, and they're like, oh, and we shook hands and everything, very cordial. And then she said, would you like to go meet the other actors for Bamboo Blade? I was like, yeah. So we go out of the control room, we walk down the hall, and we go into the into the studio where they're all hanging out and chatting, having a little, you know, having a bottle of water and taking a break. And she says, excuse me, in Japanese, of course, I'm gonna do it in English. Excuse me, and they all turned around, and she said, she, in Japanese, said, American seiyuu, and I'm watching their faces, okay? They're like this. Like, you know, who's this American guy? And then I heard her go, seiyuu Edward Elric of Full Metal, and like this girl in the front row goes, oh! This beautiful, cute little actress. Oh! She goes, Winry! Winry! And I was like, and then, so she runs up and hugs me, and then another girl from the cast goes, Rose! Rosa! From Cornello, from the Lior episode, Rose. So she comes up and hugs me, and suddenly it was like we were all buddies. Because we were all actors, we were all voice actors. And I mean, I'm getting in the middle of them, we're taking big pictures like we're a baseball team or something. And it was so much fun, it was a blast. Then, that evening, we went to Roppongi, which is the kind of the nightclub district in Tokyo. And I had dinner with Romy Park and Seiji Mizushima, who directed Full Metal Alchemist. And you know what? Here's Romy, here's me, sitting across from each other at the table. Romy has an interpreter, I have an interpreter. Romy would say something in Japanese, and I would just lock eyes with her. And she was so expressive, and I'm listening to her. And then her interpreter talks, I don't even look at him. I'm looking at her, and he interprets it, and I laugh and react, and then I say something to her, don't even look at my translator. I'm like, Romy, and then such and such and such and such, and blah, blah, blah. And then he interprets it, and she laughs, and it was like we were connected, you know what I mean? To know that this girl had played that character just, you know, as I did, and that connection that we had. And by the end, I mean, I took her a present, and I brought her. She was supposed to be a guest at Anime Expo in Los Angeles the year before, and she couldn't make it. And I bought her this beautiful cowboy hat, like a real slick Stetson female, you know, nice hat. And because I heard she liked cowboy hats. And so I bought her one. I was living in Houston at the time. I thought it was the perfect gift. I took it all the way to Los Angeles, and she couldn't make it to Anime Expo. So what did I do? I lugged the thing to Tokyo, hoping that I would get to meet her. Well, I did. You guys, look it up on YouTube. There's a video of our dinner and me giving her the cowboy hat. And it was so much fun. When we left that dinner, we walked out onto the street and we're hugging. She's like this. I mean, cute little, sweet little girl. We're hugging each other, and she looks at me in probably, I mean, the very little English that she knew, and she said, I want to come to convention with you. And I was like, we have to make that happen, Romy. And it was so wonderful. So the answer is a resounding yes. I got to meet a couple of like Winry and Rose, and then got to have dinner with Romy, and it was such a wonderful experience. You guys, I hope you had fun. It was really great being here with you. I think we started off the convention right. And yes, and I've got an autograph. And let me say one thing real quick, guys. Also, a lot of you guys wrote me emails, and you asked me if I was going to be bringing my music CDs to the convention, so you could have. I'm like, yeah, I brought a whole bunch of them for you. So those of you that are like, what are you talking about? I've been writing and producing music twice as long as I've been voice acting. I've got 6 different music CDs of different styles. Several of them have songs from Full Metal, or on High School, D and Angel. So I'll have those at the autograph session, and I will look very forward to seeing you guys this weekend, all right? I'll see you at the autographs, I'll see you tomorrow at the panel, okay? Thanks so much, you guys, I love you.